Welcome to the Letters Page, a podcast where we talk about whatever you people want to talk about.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Christopher.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome today.
Yeah. How's
It's
everybody
good to
doing?
see all your faces out there.
Oh, we got more people coming to the door.
Most of which are smiling.
This is exciting.
Some of you are grimacing rather unpleasantly, but
I imagine it's because of the kazoos.
probably.
I really hope that the recording of that sounds awesome, because I think it sounded awesome, and not just like a lot of angry bees fighting.
Well, if you're not here and it doesn't sound awesome, it sounded awesome.
It
when
sounded
we did
awesome.
It.
There was
So-
one point in which I was laughing, so I couldn't kazoo, and so I stopped kazooing, and then I heard it, and it sounded actually really cool.
Oh no, it sounded really cool.
Yeah. So, the people at the door are saying that it sounded cool.
Sounded good,
So,
yeah.
Good job, everybody knowing the same song. We will see about if you know more songs later. Welcome to Letters Page. Welcome to Gen Con. How's everybody's Gen Con going?
Good.
Same.
Yeah.
No, this is my Gen Con is
big
very.
mood.
Yeah, my Gen Con is very dozens of people yelling woo at the same time.
Yeah.
That is my. Thousands of people.
Thousands of people
as
as
far
we
as
look out
the eye
across
can see.
this stadium that the Colts play in.
No, I think that the attendance of Gen Con is roughly it's just over 60,000 people.
And
So
I
I think a lot of people that aren't at Gen Con must have come
Right.
to the
Yeah,
Letters
because
Page
this is
recording.
easily 100,000 people.
Oh gosh, I can't. I mean, so you start counting 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4, dozens, thousands, millions.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. We love that you enjoy any part of the thing we do.
Yeah, we do.
It's puzzling to us, but hey, thank you. We normally for Gen Con Lives, not normally, one time for Gen Con Lives, we prepared material and questions going, okay, well, they're not going to have any questions for us. They'll have like a couple, so we'll prepare some things.
That was very wrong.
And then last year, we had a couple of side things that might happen, and then that didn't happen.
Right, that was also wrong.
This year, we're just going to get right into questions because I feel like some of you have questions. And then once you all run out of questions and we dry up on questions, then we'll spend the last time just improving something.
Yeah, probably.
It'll be fine.
We'll probably do another court case. It'll be fun.
Yeah, for those of you who showed up early, thank you. There was a bunch of people half an hour plus early to this. And so once we opened the doors, we did some informal, very formal impromptu court cases.
Where we put Maggie on trial.
Muggle.
I'm sorry, Muggle Claymore.
It was the case of Mr. Potter
versus Muggle Claymore.
You don't have a microphone right now.
We're going to take your questions. If you want to line up.
Well, hold on. Before we line up, you got to do the song.
Oh, we got to do
the
the song
transition
first?
song, and then we'll go to lining
All
up.
right, okay.
So don't line up. So, do you want to start us off with those soulful tones? Oh, we're going to get right into it. And then that's where Jen raps. Jen, you come in to do the rap now. It's a rap. Okay. All right.
It is my goal over the time of Jen's employment and or life, whichever is longer,
Or shorter.
to get her to rap in front of a microphone. It's my new goal.
It's good to have goals. That went really well. I'm very impressed. I want to try a thing. Trevor, you up for trying a thing?
Usually.
I'm not going to tell you the thing.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell anybody the thing except for Trevor. I told Trevor the thing.
Okay.
But I know I know you got this.
Okay.
I'm
trusting you.
Just put a big shwa sound at the start of this whole song, and then you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, go yeah, that worked out. So.
Nice job.
I was like, when we were playing around with these kazoos, when we got them, Trevor and I were like, what song would be just like the coolest to have a whole lot of people playing on the kazoo at once? And that was one. It was either that or the Jurassic Park song. But
Yeah, we used to do that in the car all the time.
We did it in the car, and then we also played that. We both played that song on the piano when we were kids.
That's true.
So I knew you'd get it, and all of you also got it. So good job.
So we can take questions now.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to line up here.
Music
I'm
interlude.
going to jump up and say some things in front of the questions microphone to do some examples.
So what you want to do is you want to come up and line up in front of this microphone. And you want to talk into both of the microphones. Oh, when we call you up, you stand right there, and that's where the line forms. And then we go, okay, next person. And you march up like this, like Christopher's doing rather ridiculously. And then you ask your question into both of those microphones at the same time. One of them is recording and one of them is speaking out to everyone here. But make sure you face both of them. Don't just do one. You have to have your head straight forward like that. Right. And you can look at us with your eyes, but face Trevor. Yeah. And so then what would you do for a question?
Hi. Hello. My name is Christopher.
Hello,
and
Christopher.
Hi, Adam. Long-time listener, first-time questioner.
Okay.
I just wonder, who's your favorite hero?
Get out. Get out. All right. Yeah. So you can just line up at will.
So yeah, begin the lining up now. If none of you have any questions, we can just go on to the next segment. It's fine. We don't need to do a question section, but we figured we'd give you a shot before going on to our reprise of the Eli and Mento episode. But if you are
Andy's first here. You want to step on up?
right, let us begin.
How's it going?
Yeah, you got to do the walk.
You walked wrong. There you go.
That's good. That's good. All right. Okay. First question. Tell us who you are and what your question is.
Hey, my name's Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm wondering if you would sing happy birthday to me, because my birthday is this month.
Oh. Do you want us to sing happy birthday to you?
Yeah, like there's a Beatles song where they do happy birthday.
You want that?
Yeah?
You want the Beatles' birthday song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beatles
All right. Well,
birthday song.
as is the rule, we got to get 2 birthdays.
Right, yeah. I hope somebody else
requests,
has a birthday in August.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So we've got the happy birthday song by the Beatles.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for your question. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Dominic, and I'm referred to myself as King Cat.
Hey, King Cat.
King Cat.
Hey, King Cat. Hey, Dominic. How
How's
you
it
doing?
going?
We've gotten some letters
Good.
from you before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about Void Guard. How do their Oblivion shards work? Because Oblivion got destroyed. So
Right.
Yes.
how do they still get their powers?
Yeah. So post the Oblivion event, how do the Void Guard Oblivion
How
shards
they
still
retain
work?
their power.
And
yeah.
the short answer is we're all going to learn way more about that in the future when the Void Guard book comes out. But you know what? That's a cop-out answer.
Yeah. The shards retain a lot of the power, and also, so the shards don't decrease in power once they're broken off from Oblivion. They don't continually draw on that source.
Now, that said, with the destruction of Oblivion, the shards are not the same, like, okay, these shards worked because they were part of Oblivion. Now Oblivion is destroyed and gone forever. So the shards are definitely going to be, let's say, unstable? Dangerous?
Right. Yeah.
More
but
so
also,
than usual?
someone who gets powers from a shard just has those powers. Right. So, like, Proletariat
Proletariat's not gonna-
is the best example. The Proletariat was given powers by a shard at his origin, and he doesn't need continual exposure to the shard to retain those powers.
Right, as a power source. Whereas somebody who's a shard wielder, who's carrying the shard, they might be incentivized to want to get rid of their shard so as to not go mad or become evil
Yeah.
or decide
There's
to
a lot of
whatever.
downside. We have rip holes in reality.
Normal stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
thank you so much,
thank you.
Dominic, a.k.a. King Cat. All right, good. Yep, good. Good dancing, fancy dancing.
Hi, I'm the patron on the forums and on the Discord, and my question is a follow-up to what you talked about in the Writers' Room a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the writer's room, yeah.
Yeah. So-
real quick, has anyone here heard the writer's room episode yet? From the couple. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's
How do people like that one?
got some thumbs up. Good. We had a lot of fun doing it, so I'm
Yep. Well, this involves actually one of the questions that you got, not the red rooms itself.
Oh, okay, sure. Don't worry about that stuff. Yeah.
So you talked about how with Legacy's powers, there's a little bit of the, I think you described it as kind of like that cosmic magic involved with that, in addition to the genetics.
Yes.
So because the RPG reality is sequestered from everything, from all other realities, does that mean that there can no longer be legacies because Wellspring is cut off from this reality if Legacy was to have a child?
So the question would be like, if in the RPG timeline, the new Legacy, if she were to have a child, would that child not have powers because Wellspring is no longer connected to that reality?
Correct.
And no, so Wellspring's influence, as Wellspring's direct connection to like the thumb on the button is cut off because of that. But the influence of Wellspring pushing down through the timelines would likely have some effect. This is a very theoretical question.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My thought is that Wellspring is kind of a set it and forget it sort of.
Right. So the magic is still influencing throughout the generations, but Wellspring isn't like, okay, for the next one, we're going to make these changes.
Right.
Like, no.
Like,
he set it up in the first place.
Wager Master is a much more hands-on sort of entity, going in there and doing stuff actively all the time. Wellspring is sort of just like, okay,
Let's
I see
set
where
these
this
things
is
in motion.
I see where this is going.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this right now, and that's going to pay off later.
Yeah. So as a result, the even though Wellspring has been cut off from Legacy, the Legacy line was still set in motion. So
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next question. Oh, good dancing. Oh man, I'm so glad I did that stupid
Everyone's
dance.
doing this.
Hello, Christopher, Madam, Trevor. I go by, on your letters page Discord, go by Alchemy.
Oh, okay, sure. Hey, Alchemy.
I have a question regarding the in-universe Sentinels comics. Now, usually when somebody famous goes to a restaurant here or says that they like a restaurant, those restaurants advertise it, like, oh, Richard Nixon ate here once or something. Sure. Do heroes do that too? Are there restaurants that advertise Skyscraper's favorite restaurant or Legacy can't live without it?
I am incentivized to say no. There's definitely no restaurants that Legacy has ever endorsed. But
For those just listening to the audio, Alchemy is dressed as Baron Blade and holding his finger over a button currently.
you say dressed as, but we don't know that that's not Baron
We
Blade.
don't know that it's not.
Right. So I don't think we can afford to take any chances here.
Yeah, that's totally the sort of thing that would happen.
Because in the world of Sentinel Comics, heroes, especially over time, especially by the time you get to like the Oblivion event and around then and past then, heroes are such public figures that a lot of them would be the ones that the media would draw on. But then there'd be other ones that were definitely not. Like there's not a taco stand that's like, this is Expatriate's favorite taco stand to shoot up. But
there might be places that go, oh, hey, Expatriate was in this gunfight here. Like you go to the OK Corral now, and they're
Right.
like, look here's the bullet holes that are still in the side of this.
Right.
So that might be there.
Right, but a legacy endorsement, not specifically an endorsement, but a legacy 8 here once is certainly a thing that's happening. Something that legacy can't live without. Man, I think that's a bold claim. You might have to find another source of.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't.
If you're really Baron Blade, you probably know.
Oh.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, thank you. All right. Oh, stunts! Live stunts are happening right
goodness.
now here at the letters
A
page,
live stunt show.
and they were all done.
Bonjour, Christopher and Madame. It is I, Ansel G. Moreau, world famous movie star. And first, a will actually not apply to you, but to a questionnaire in this science episode.
Okay.
It has been bothering me. They gave you a wrong definition of the laws of thermodynamics.
Okay.
1, you cannot win. 2, you can't break even. 3, you can't quit the game. The most dangerous game. Finally, the actual question.
Yes.
I have obviously been the fan favorite character since introduction.
Yeah, number 1.
Right. Of all characters.
Other than, Ambuscade, who is obviously a completely different character.
Sure.
What,
Number 3.
What story convinced the writers that they needed to make the greatest hero of the stuntman?
So there's a great question. Why did Stuntman show up in comics? I think we talked about this.
I know the Mars adventure, but
Right.
was there a story before where a writer said to another, should we have a super handsome hero who is definitely not the ambuscade, and we can lead into it with this Mars?
Right. The idea that like, okay, here's the thing: Ambuscade, cool character,
Right.
top 5, sure, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. But how do we should transition him to being this very handsome, most handsome.
Right. Yeah, I would say that Ambuscade was a pretty popular character in general.
Right.
And that people liking him kind of transitioned him into anti-hero a little bit.
Well, part of it was that the Ambuscade was accidentally hilarious.
Yeah.
That Ambuscade was like, oh man, he's this cool guy and he does his stunts and he hunts the heroes. But then just the writing around him wasn't like hilarious in a making fun of him way, but just like he was quippy and people liked the quips. Yeah. And when heroes interacted with him, he would be a villain that would be like, oh no, you foiled me, I'll get you next time. He'd be like, well, this one's too much for me, I'm out. Yeah. And people like enjoyed the humor of that. And so like, okay, hold on, enough people like this guy. Let's do this funny story with his face to like undercut the whole seriousness of his backstory, and then lean into, okay, well, what if he embraces this role as getting along with the heroes, the Mars story, etc. Yeah. And then the Extremiverse, the Desperation story about action hero stuntman really helped that too. It was like, okay, here's this other world where he's just straight up an action hero.
And I think that the glamour helped too. The glamour posing as stuntman for a while, going like, oh, he's not actually doing...
Or Ambuscade, yeah.
His Ambuscade. He's not actually doing all those things. What is he doing during that? That's sort of
being a handsome, world-famous movie star who does his own stunts.
Right.
Yeah.
Finally, I am annoyed that you... suggested a Biomancer clone wrote one of my letters. There has never been a stunt double, Biomancer or otherwise.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, I am Luna.
Welcome, Luna.
I know you dislike questions about favorite hero, and I agree they're just plain boring. But what's your least favorite? Who did you just feel I could have done so much better with this character now?
Who could we have done better with? Like in terms of gameplay or in terms of story?
Take your pick.
Well, the art.
Sorry.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I think that I wouldn't do anything differently story-wise, I don't think.
Story's really good because a lot of the things we've done in the story that we're like, that one didn't work as well, great. We put that in an era where comics had some problem, where things didn't land, and that is correct to comics.
Right, and we have the freedom to kind of massage things into the shape that we want them eventually. There are a few, actually there's one thing that's like a little mechanically rough about the first one. I think it's Bunker.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
I love Bunker though.
I love Bunker.
I like the way he is.
I do.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. But it's a super minor shift. Not
it is.
Shift,
it is very very minor.
Yeah.
And there's just like some sensibilities that I think that we developed over time that if we did Bunker now, then he would end up a little bit different.
Least favorite. I mean, if we started over and did them all now, like start from fresh, they'd probably all turn out different. Not because we did it wrong in the past, but because like we've changed as people, as game designers, as game creators, as storytellers. But I also don't mind them for like where they were and like how they work. That core set it holds up surprisingly well, in my opinion. Man, least favorite, any of the things.
I tell you, my least favorite thing is people whose least favorite is Mr. Fixer because he's awesome.
He's awesome. Yeah. So, my least favorite thing is hating on Mr. Fixer.
Yeah, there you go.
Least favorite hero. I really don't have a least favorite hero. It's like it goes into the same category as favorites for me because they're all my babies. I don't love any of them more or less than each other. So, but.
I hope that's somewhat of a satisfactory answer.
It was something.
And that's what we strive for here.
I
on the
always
letters
think it's an
page.
interesting question just because it is that hard choice.
Yeah. I wish I had a more definite answer, but I'm kind of glad I can't be like, oh, well, it's the naturalist. He sucks. Because that's obviously not true.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, we've got...
Hi,
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Will, the Blue-Eyed Bard.
Hey there, Blue-Eyed
and
Bard.
my question's about the RPG, which is great. You guys did awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I've futzed around in my spare time with a character builder, and we live in an era with Hero Lab, with D&D Beyond, all of this other stuff. And are you guys considering anything like that? Responsive design, character generator, even just the PDF having options like loaded into it, anything?
So we looked at with the form fillable PDF in terms of like having stuff loaded into it so you could pull things up, and it made it just super unwieldy and not very useful, and also a replacement in some ways that we didn't like. So like we went down that road and stopped that. We're looking at some other options for having more responsive, reactive generators and things. Nothing concrete yet. Nothing determined.
Well, it's something we've had some talks about developing character generators and stuff like that. But
it's related but different. If you haven't yet gotten a chance to play around with the hero creator for the Sentinels of Freedom video game that is in the booth right across from ours. So our booth is 1241. Their booth is
next to
well,
it,
1437 maybe. But oh yeah, I bet you would know 1437. Okay, right. But yeah, so that booth has a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, and I got to sit and play with the character generator and play through the demo, and it's working real smoothly. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you can build a hero in there, and we've talked to them about doing a thing where you could like build your RPG hero in that and like output it as a result. So. Yeah, but like this is nothing confirmed. Corey, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. But yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hello, I like your pig.
I love your costume.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm wondering.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Izzy. Sorry.
Hello, Izzy.
I'm wondering. So, did Sentinel Comics ever do something like Schmarvel, where they ran out of money and they had to sell out some of the rights to one of their characters? But did they ever get them back? If so,
This is a
also,
great...
do you like my pig?
I love your pig. That's the best. Yeah.
Indeed.
So Sentinel Comics definitely ran out of money a couple of times and had some big changes to the company as a result.
Yeah. There's some information about that we're a little bit hazy on because we're not the ones writing it down for the book.
Yeah, the History of Sentinel
Comics book
is going to have a lot of the specifics on there, and so I don't want to specify heroes being lost or gained. You're going to learn a lot of that information in the book. Yeah, that's up and coming there. But there's definitely a couple of major. There's a lot of stories in History of Sentinel Comics about positive and negative things of having and not having money over the course of the publishing company, because that's a notable part of comic book history is that it's a difficult industry. And that's also one of the elements of the story that happened in the 90s that we were really excited about. But spoilers, I'm sorry.
That's mostly for the book.
But yeah, that is information that is not far, not too far in the future that will be coming out. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. How's it going?
It's going.
Good.
I'm Alex. Occasionally, I'm on the forums as Azrael2112314.
That's a totally rememberable number, yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, Sentinel Comics, or Sentinels of the Multiverse, has been around officially since 2011, and since then it's crossed over in some ways into other stories, into other board games. So like Nexus of the Void has connections to Spirit Island. Laser Riders is canon in the metaverse, and Bottom of the Ninth is just canon. So I've counted myself like 12 other connections to other games or other universes. So I wanted to ask you guys, just how many connections are there to other universes from Sentinels to other board games or universes.
Infinite.
So it's tricky because also once you connect a connection to something else, if that thing is then connected to something else, then like that creates the web. And one of the things that early on became problematic for keeping track of connections, and so we stopped because we were for a while being like, oh, there's this and there's this and this and that, is that Sentinels of the Sentinels of the Multiverse universe is connected to the Galactic Strike Force universe, which I don't know if any of you know of Galactic Strike Force. It's a game that we made very early on. It's a game that we dearly love and very few people dearly loved, and that's fine. But we'll do stuff again with it in the future. But until then, it's just a thing that we think about and reminisce and be like, Galactic Strike Force. It had its problems. But Galactic Strike Force canonically got connected in two different ways to the like weirdly extra canon world of the Penny Arcade comics.
We did the Automata promo and the Broodax, which is from the strips.
Right, and they're connected to infinite other games.
Right.
And so then it just was like, oh, yeah. And so people have come up to us and be like, oh, well, this thing from Penny Arcade is in one of our games, and it's connected to your game, and so then it's part of that. I'm like, I guess. So, yeah. So, and that was, I think, in 2012 that
it was
happened.
very early.
So we've, at that point, we're like, all right, fine. So I don't have an answer to your question. If you want to map it, go for it. But also, please don't. It's fine.
I'll try maybe.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, my name is Sam. Currently I go by the Worm Sponsor on Discord, formerly
Yeah.
the Worm Superior. There's a story behind that.
There was a whole episode brought to you by the Worm Superior.
That's true. So
Go to thewormsuperior.net to get all of your superior worm needs.
I did register wormsuperior.com, so that does exist now.
You got it!
It leads to a very 90s construction gif, so it's perfect as far
beautiful.
as I'm concerned.
Do you have like the flames and the dancing frog?
I do have something dancing.
Okay.
But my question is about worms or dragons, not actual fishing hook worms.
Yeah.
So I tried to reach out to Zulong for a sponsorship. He eliminated the rest of my stock, though, which is why I'm now the Worm Sponsor, not the Worm Superior. Because none of my worms are superior anymore.
Sure.
So he's out of the question.
Yeah.
What other dragons exist in the Sentinels comic universe that I could reach out to?
There's
Currently?
Well, there's laser dragons.
Right, there's laser dragons.
Gotta have laser dragons. There's another connection to Galactic Strike Force. There are, the art of the laser dragon for the RPG.
Yeah,
Supply chain
that's
was so
super
good.
solid.
There's certainly going to be like fantasy style dragons that came up in some story in which they're like, oh no, we're doing like an Arthurian time travel. Oh no, a dragon thing.
Yeah,
but
dragons were real
At one point.
At one point.
But in terms of like named dragons, modern dragons, notable dragons as characters,
right?
Man, Zulong has got the corner on that market for very specific reasons.
So you're saying I should time travel back in time, find a dragon, sponsor them, have them in a cage match with Zulong, and then I win.
I cannot legally advocate time travel. I've gotten in some trouble with that.
I can. I think you should do it. Yeah. Adam is no longer allowed to advocate time travel, but the Time Travel Advisory Board has not come after me. Right. So if Adam were here now, he would tell you that you should definitely time travel.
Thank you.
I would no. I can't.
He would.
I can't tell him that.
Hypothetically speaking. Thank you.
Thanks. I will take both of those advices into consent.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, good.
Pricey Promises here with a very important question. When Omnitron X shoots off his arm with a rocket punch, does it rocket back to his arm and attach back on, or does his electro deployment unit make a new one? Are there arms laying everywhere?
Yeah. So this is. So I think the deeper question is how many discarded Omnitron X arms are around in the multiverse, and what have they been used for? So that's a pretty big question. So certainly he's had times where he's shot the arm off and then like does some fighting without the arm and then comes back. That's kind of happened. But there was a time we shot the arm off and like some creature destroyed it and it's like
crushed it.
He's like whatever, new arm. So both have happened in comics.
Both work.
It is more common that it comes back because he doesn't want to expend the resources.
And you hit and then shunk, and that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. But that is how many missing arms are out there in the world? Two. Specifically only two.
No,
All the others have been recovered?
I'm not going to commit to an actual number on that.
It's two.
The quest to find them begins.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi there. I'm Abri.
Hello, Aubrey.
Hello.
Came with a hypothesis, and I was wondering how on or off the mark I was with it.
Okay.
So I've been looking at both the Scholar and Lifeline's decks, trying to figure out just how Lifeline works. And I believe, not Lifeline, Ley Lines.
Oh, how ley lines work. Okay,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed that both of them are drawing a lot of cards through their decks. And both of them have some discards. Both of them have one card that plays the top. But the big thing is a lot of drawing. So my hypothesis is that Leyline magic involves gathering a lot of power, and the focus is on how you discharge that power. If you go slowly, it's like the Scholar. You have to expend a lot of energy to keep it up, but you'll probably be fine. If your emotions run wild and you force it, it ends up being like how Lifeline can end up with himself on fire, dealing lots of damage to himself, just destroying his body. Am I getting close here?
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Yeah, that's not really that far off.
Ley lines are super connected, are connected to massive sources of power by the very nature of how they work, and as a result, drawing on ley lines is opening yourself up to a conduit of functionally infinite power. And there are costs, and that's why Scholar is the right guy for that, because he's like, okay, all right, very measured, very
Right, and
methodical.
having the Philosopher's Stone allows him to limit those costs.
Right.
Whereas in a way that Lifeline can't do.
Yeah, Lifeline's like, you know what, ley lines, awesome, let's do this. Oh no,
Right.
oh no, my skin.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's a very good interpretation of how that works.
Yeah.
So good job, you did it.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Okay, here we go. Ooh, bombastic.
Boy, he means it.
Hello.
Hello.
Trevor, do I really just have to keep these guys in my peripheral vision?
No, you can.
Yeah, that's the requirement.
Okay. Hello, peripheral vision, Adam and Christopher. I am James.
Hey, James.
Quick question. I played Homebrew at a trade show and had a conversation with Paul about it. If you were to do a Sentinel expansion for Homebrew,
Okay.
which Sentinel characters would be brewing their own beer, and what would their specialties be?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so Scholar's gonna do some homebrew, and he just kind of dabbles in a little bit of everything. Makes a batch of this, makes a batch of that. Minute adjustments, pretty like pedestrian fare, but it's all made with love. Setback has never attempted to brew beer. However,
has ended up with it before.
he has spilled things into a barrel and then forgotten about it in his garage, and then been like, oh, and it was really good.
And that would be
but
a really
poisonous.
interesting character to make in that game, is one that makes everything accidentally.
Yeah.
So,
boy, who are other people that would be
I
into?
kind of think that's it. Like,
Guys just makes hoppy sour IPAs. Hoppy sour IPA porter stouts. Kimchi hoppy.
the weirder ingredients, the better in there.
Yeah. Trevor, who do you think? Trevor is the person sitting on this dais that does the most brewing.
Which is any brewing.
Yep, that's the one. Mm-hmm. The person in this room, while Trevor thinks, who's done the most homebrewing, and I'm just gonna guess out of all of you. I don't have to. I'm sure that some of you have done some homebrewing. Maybe some of you have done a lot, but Paul has done more. I'm guessing that
Paul
you're the
brews a
person
lot
in the
of
room
beer.
who's done the most brewing of beer. Like, just throwing it out there that it's highly likely, based on the fact that in a couple of years, right before we started the company, you brewed hundreds of gallons of beer in your house. Yeah. And then transported across state lines. Don't worry, nobody listens to podcasts. You're fine. Statute of limitations. So, Trevor, back to you.
I could see Legacy doing something.
Just giving it a shot?
Maybe, yeah. Just like buying one of those kits at Target
Yeah, do
that
a
has
kit
the.
and just a real
Target.
Yeah, like a good solid American pale ale.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
you.
And if you any of you haven't seen the game Homebrewers, we have it here for sale and for demo in the booth. It's really fun. It's
I did the art for that too.
You did.
Yeah, it's different.
And it's an engine building game that you build 4 different engines across 4 different beers. It's going to sell out tomorrow. So we have 2 new games of this show: Medium, a mind reading party game, which is awesome, and Homebrewers. And Medium is entirely sold out. We sold out of the expansion of Medium yesterday, and we had 60 copies of Medium this morning, and those were gone in the first couple hours. So sorry, but we also have some Homebrewers left for now. They're very good. They're fun. Check them out.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Patrick.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello. I like your shirt.
Thank you. So my favorite villain from the card game was Biomancer. And he's also
What do you
the
mean
character
was?
I think he's also the character I think had the coolest costume redesign for the RPG.
Yeah.
I think so too.
So I have a question about him and the setting of the RPG.
Sure. Oh man, this is some fun stuff.
With the election coming up, how many seats does he expect to control after the election?
So here's the deal. Man, you are onto something that we have already written and has already gone through layout. And normally I like to give some information, be like, oh, but there's stuff about that coming up. Man, but that's like...
That's coming up real soon.
That's like a thing.
Yeah. Like real soon. That's a major...
Not 0. And he's pretty confident. Okay, next question. Man, that one was good. That's a very good question.
My name is Justin.
Hello, Justin.
I have a question on if you had a favorite character from the Earth Prime universe.
Maybe Lantern Jack. He's fun.
I like the what's his name? The villain. I like villains are my favorite.
Hades?
No, I think Omega maybe.
Oh,
the one with the tank, the skull head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
And did you have any favorite mechanics that you added, or is it all just general?
Oh man, there's some good stuff. Boy, I have to think back. This was so.
I don't know
so
that
many
as
design
well as
projects
you guys.
ago.
Like, I was not really involved in doing that, so.
Yes, I have many favorite mechanics that we're using there. There's a lot of new stuff. It's going through it is challenging. There was a lot of new stuff used in that set, and things I never done before. You know what? What I think that I really liked was that Johnny Rocket was so difficult to make because he is just exactly the same person as Tachyon minus science. It just like that, and so it was like, well, okay. And so writing another speedster deck, but doing it in a really different way was a fun challenge. And it's funny because Tachyon's deck, when we originally made it, was the fastest deck that we ever made.
We knew exactly how that was going to work before we even wrote any cards down.
We wrote all the cards down, and we made them, and then we tested them once, and we changed like a 2 to a 3 and something else, and then it was good. Yeah. And Tachyon's deck was just done. It was perfect. And as a result, Johnny Rocket's deck was not that easy. So a lot of good stuff in that set, though. I'm excited for it to finally come out soon, hopefully. It's out of my hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello. Oh, waving.
Hello, Doug, Grim Reaper, or Grim Digger, sorry, on the forums.
All right.
I have a Science of the Multiverse question.
Okay.
What is the standard handwave for interstellar travel? Is it hyperspace, stargates, Einstein was wrong?
Oh, sure. How are people getting all over the place in space? Handwave is like, a lot of it is like, all right, and then they traveled and now they're at this other place. There are some like folding space technology things where you're gonna essentially create like localized wormholes.
Yeah, so it's more like Stargates. I don't think anyone has ever done hyperspace.
Right, where you're like jumping to a different speed.
I don't think people have exceeded light speed in space travel like that.
Right, rather they find like weird, inexplicable shortcuts, or have like space folding engines.
But like in terms of interstellar drives, it's more like opening a portal than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Oh, good.
Hello.
You don't have to.
You have to.
Okay. I'm Simon, and I usually sign Chaos Orchestrator when I send questions.
Sure.
And I was wondering, of all the heroes, I feel like the one that I know as a person the least is probably Visionary. So given that, I'd like to ask, like, what's her day off look like? What's she do to relax?
Yeah, so I get that definitely, because for probably 80% of her existence in comics, it's not her.
Right. So like she's there at the beginning, and then we've got Dark Visionary, and then again she's there at the end. Visionary also, even when she's not Dark Visionary, is a pretty extreme person. She's not much of a day off person, which is a thing that happens from being on a clock.
Yeah, I think that she's
it.
Because the clock isn't there anymore in the RPG.
Right. In the RPG, we're going to get to know her pretty better, and she's going to have to learn how to relax in the RPG, which, speaking as a person who's not very good at relaxing, is very difficult to do.
Right.
Being a high-strung, go all the time on person, and then saying, you know what? No, I'm just going to take some time for myself.
But she came from an alternate future with a specific mission in mind, and doesn't let that go. So it's like every waking moment is devoted to that for her time here.
So not much of a conversationalist then?
No, not really.
No, not so much. Especially because she can read your mind. So, like and she's not real shy about using it. She's getting better in the future, but because of who she is, she'll be like, okay, we need to talk about this. Great, thank you for your responses.
Yeah, everyone is
she's
everyone is
off-putting.
always off-gassing their surface thoughts.
Right.
To her. So she can just grab those.
Well, and
go like, I know what you're about to say.
And if she needs to know something about something that you're like holding back or something, Adam, if she needed to know what you thought about baseball, she just says, Adam, thoughts on baseball? Got it. And then she's good.
Yeah.
So she has to learn how to be a better communicative person, and not just a psychic soldier, which is like her thing forever. So,
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Harry Potter.
Hello, Harry Potter.
Hello, Harry Potter. The boy
My
who
question,
lived.
yes,
That never gets old.
It never. Is actually a meta question. And the shift from the Sentinels, the South Sentinels, to Void Guard seems pretty stark from a meta perspective. I mean, you went from a comic that was designed to be an intro to a very, very complicated, very all over the place galactically and power wise.
Yeah.
So what was the meta termination? Like, hey, let's take our simplest, most user friendly, and let's crank it up 12 notches.
I mean, and that was exactly the goal. Where they were like, okay, we've got this book, it's doing pretty well, now it's not doing so well, now it's not doing so well. And the fact that it was disconnected from most of the rest of the meta made a lot of its readers, when they disappeared, they either disappeared entirely or did so by getting invested in a bunch of the other books. So the only people that still cared about the Sentinels were people that were connected. And they're like, all right, fine, you want connected? I'm going to give you front row seats.
The other answer is Oblivion, the Oblivion event. Like the meta of Oblivion.
Yeah, that was coming.
Going like, okay, we have this giant thing that's going to touch every single book. It's going to seem a little weird if we're focused on this side thing at the same time. So let's bring that up to level with the rest of comics.
It's also an attempt to bring a bunch of those readers that were still there, that were not connected to the rest of everything, and be like, hey, that book do you like? Strangely, because nobody else does anymore. But it wasn't zero readership, but it was a low readership. But that book that you like is back in a really different form, and you also might want to check out all these other books. Buy our books.
And I'd say there's probably a mixed response in the metaverse to Void Guard. That like a lot of the people that were still sticking around were like, wait, this isn't my Void Guard. This is way different. I'm not interested anymore.
And people that were unfamiliar with the Sentinels before that were like, who are these Deus Ex Machina characters coming out of nowhere with all of the power and doing all the things and what? I don't get it. But then they did become fan favorites by the time of Oblivion because they're plucky. They're this fun family and also writhe.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. I'm David. So a while ago, you listed 20 sources of power, and one thing I've noticed is that outside of training and technology represented by Wraith, Benchmark, Knife, and one that's escaping me right now, it seems like pretty much everyone gets their powers and then becomes heroes instead of decides to be a hero and then goes and gets powers. And this also follows for most of the villains outside of like Ennead and I have a harder time keeping these all in my head than you probably do because this is your creation. Is there a narrative or world building reason for that, or is that just like a series of coincidences, or am I seeing a pattern that doesn't actually exist?
No, that's definitely that is a very much a mirror of the idea of power corrupts or power enables, like you know.
Well, and also like you think about if you live in this world where you see this superheroic combat going on, most people aren't going to go, I can do that.
And
I'll be fine.
And some that do are wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't work out.
So usually the powers have to precede the involvement.
Not always, though. There are exceptions that prove the rule. Yeah. But in a lot of cases, it's the story of somebody who is like, man, if I only had more power, if I only could do something like this, then I would get involved. And that's the thing that's holding them back.
Well, and you do have an instance of that in Tiago.
Right.
Also, growing up going, I want to be a hero. I want to be a hero. I don't have any powers, but I want to be a hero. And then gets them in not the greatest way, but...
And then there's, like you mentioned, Knife. Knife is a character who was very involved with things that were going on, not necessarily as a hero, but was like involved in a bunch of stuff, very good at combat, was around in the multiverse, and then after she gets powers, even her getting powers wasn't even the big turning point for her. The big turning point was her realizing that this group that she worked for was not who she thought they were. And her getting powers was a much smaller note in that arc for her than her initial training with armed forces to later training with Filter to meeting Tempest, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's back. Hey, Baronblade.
Hello. I have a alchemy again.
Yes.
For Christopher, what was the emotionally hardest character death to write? And Adam, what was the emotionally hardest picture to draw?
I mean, the Iron Legacy story.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of like what the specific one is, because there's a couple that were really rough. You go first.
Thank you. So leading up to Oblivion, we knew a lot of things were going to be happening, and those were all pretty difficult, but also like we knew them coming into them a bit more. We knew the Iron Legacy story going into it, and yet it was surprising to me. I have this very strong memory of writing the Kickstarter update about it. That was the one that was like, oh, hey, no, this is real. We're really doing this. And it's not even this reality. It doesn't matter, though. The story of what the various legacies went through in the Iron Legacy arc. And when I wrote that Kickstarter update of, okay, in this reality, this is what happens, here's what happens, okay, good. And this other reality, it goes this other way, and the death of Young Legacy is such a blow that, like, is still very difficult for me to think about, because if you think about who Legacy is and what the Legacy family is, and then having Legacy watch his daughter be killed, like, writing that story was super rough.
It's not even just the personal impact of it; that it's a cultural impact on the world.
Yeah, there's just so much. I remember I wrote that Kickstarter update, and it was like middle of the afternoon. I finished writing it. I do an edit pass on it. I post the Kickstarter update, and I'm sitting staring at my computer, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm done for the day. Like I was tapped. So yeah.
For me, so like the actual like death of Young Legacy wasn't that difficult to draw, because it's kind of just like a shock panel whatever. But the ones that really got me, I think, were the ring, the Legacy throwing the ring into the grave. That was a big one, and then the picture
in photograph.
Yeah,
in the rain.
Right.
And the funny thing is he did that one first.
Yeah, I had to draw. Well, the thing is, I had to like draw that picture with the intention of putting it broken in the mud later. So like I had to do a separate art and then like twist it and put it in, break the thing. And so I had to craft the entire thing, draw this happy picture of all the heroes together and enjoying themselves at a barbecue, and then I had to destroy it and
ruin it.
Yeah. So that was a little bit taxing.
The arts that you did around the end of the Guys and Scholar story of with Guys, and then with a Scholar with the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
That one was particularly impactful for me. I don't know, and it's not like.
For me, the one of those that was the one before. Like the actual pushing the stone into his chest was
That,
good, but
for me, that one was like the farewell to the scholar.
When Scholar's holding the stones and like can see through his hand and like knows that his time is limited. That was a pretty emotional one too.
All right. I simply asked because I was particularly taken back by the raw end cap where Fanatic is holding.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's also
I forgot about that one.
There's also the comic book cover.
Yeah, the
with
comic
Ra
cover, yeah.
and Fanatic. Oh boy.
All right, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. All right. That's good enough. See you guys next time.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I wanted to get some information actually about the Atlanteans.
Oh, sure.
You talk a lot about how Tempest has a connection to the ruins of Atlantis, and he spends a lot of time down there and uses the relics. Is there any kind of connection between Tempest specifically, or the Atlanteans and the Marinians, or anything like that?
Not specifically, no.
So Tempest goes down there because, in a lot of ways, being down there reminds him of his home planet. But the Atlanteans and the Marinians there's no other connection between them.
Yeah. He goes down there because he can be alone, because he's the only person that can breathe underwater.
Until later, there's a base that the Primordans make there.
Yeah. Just moving among the ruins there just helps him kind of center himself.
I mean, Tempest is kind of like a mopey, melancholy guy in a lot of instances. So being like, I'm alone in these ruins of people that died ages ago, and I'm alone.
I myself am a ruin.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's like, all right. Dashboard confessional.
All right, thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hi. I'm King Cat, and I was wondering. I had a question about Oblivion because I know that nobody was asking.
Traditional.
So, what I understand, all of the Oblivion's power got sucked into the tree, right?
Yeah. Well, so before that happened, you're on the right track. But right before that happened, spoilers. Voss used a lot of that power to shut this reality out from the multiverse. So a bunch of the power was expended before that happened. But yes, rest of it in the tree.
Okay, so what would happen if the tree was destroyed or somebody sucked the tree's power out?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
It would be real bad.
That'd be super bad.
Yeah. Well, so that
would be super terrible.
Like maybe Wager Master.
Maybe.
Boy. So there's.
Yeah, no one would ever try. Certainly, there's the starter kit of the RPG in which, like, right off the bat, someone's like, "Oh."
One of the main catastrophic consequences of that would be that the city's entire power grid is hooked into it,
and it wouldn't just be like oh no, blackouts.
No, Megalopolis and the tree have a symbiotic relationship at this point.
Yeah, neither one of them is going to survive without the other, to a degree.
There's like a give and take between like the life forms of the city and the tree gives back to the city, etc. So it's very interconnected, and so removing the tree would affect everybody in the city in profoundly negative ways.
So it's a good thing that nobody ever does that.
Bonjour, Christopher and Madame. It is
Welcome
I,
back.
Ansel G. Moreau, world-famous movie star. And I was wondering, obviously I speak the fluent French. I assume La Capitane speaks 16th century Spanish. Presumably Dr. Medico also speaks the Spanish. Are there any characters who have other languages? Are there any that speak the Esperanto?
Pars knows Esperanto. Speaks it as a...
Fanatic speaks
Fanatic
Spanish.
speaks Spanish.
Ross speaks ancient Egyptian.
Haka's
got a lot of languages.
But that's true. Maori would be his first language, but Haka has a lot of languages.
But Haka's been around a while, so he's picked up a bunch of them. Takian's probably got a handful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Unity would speak Hebrew. Who said that? Oh,
Proletariat, definitely. Yeah,
right,
and there's
Russian.
a number of Russians. Yeah.
No, Tempest only speaks English. It's
only English.
Weird.
Real weird. It's a 60s comic book alien, so it's just English.
Baron Blade certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He speaks modern Gradian,
Oh.
which is we made up our own language.
Yeah. So yeah, like a good.
Oh yeah,
good-
Knife speaks
good
Scottish. That's the
handful.
language.
Yeah, naturalist is from Africa,
Yeah.
so probably a couple.
Yeah, a couple different languages.
Yeah.
There.
Thank you for your time.
Oh yeah, Kismet. Let's see.
I don't. So I think that
Kismet would just speak English. at that point.
Kismet is probably a lot like my wife in that like grew up around people that speak different languages but doesn't speak them herself.
Right, culturally part of that.
Yeah.
culture,
So like
but
my
herself-
wife is Puerto Rican and she can understand Spanish, so like a lot of Spanish, but she doesn't speak it herself.
Right. So.
Probably
Idealist.
not.
Oh, because you grew up with Dr.
Maybe.
Medica. She probably knows a lot of Spanish words, especially.
probably a similar situation,
But not. I mean, because like Dr. Medico, who speaks Spanish, doesn't really even speak Spanish with his spouse a lot because
Right.
so
Yeah.
there's not this the language in the home situation. But she would have been still exposed to it more than your average created person who's not really even a real person,
Right.
who's living as if they're a real person.
The everyday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah, I
mentioned
said
the naturalist.
naturalist,
A couple of different African languages. So.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, what? Visionary would probably
I think
actually
she
just
speaks-
speak English.
I thought
I mean,
she
she might.
probably speaks Chinese.
She might. Yeah, she probably. Mostly because of her parents. Again, it's a generational thing. But yeah. Nope. Again,
Actually,
Lifeline
like,
only speaks Esperanto.
Think about this. Only Esperanto. Visionary probably speaks every language because she can get the surface thoughts and the meaning. Of,
Visionary speaks
like,
no languages. She's transcend languages.
Yeah.
She's yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Good. New dances.
Pricey provinces again.
You're right.
So we know Writhe and Baron Blade are both brilliant inventors.
Right.
They do their science a little bit different, whereas Writhe is kind of dark, evil science, and Baron Blade is mad science.
Baron Blade's good, positive light science.
Is there a maybe a desperation story where they try to work together to take over the world or something, but can't because they can't stop backstabbing each other? Or maybe they have worked together on something to maybe stop Oblivion or something like that?
They're rivals in lab. I can make a death ray better than you can.
Competing death rays.
Yeah. So I mean, that requires it would have to be a desperation story because in the time that the two of them are contemporaries, like Writhe is before being a hero, not really even a villain except for whoops. Like, so there's not a specific story like that,
one.
but it is certainly a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
Writhe versus Baron Blade in a science off.
I think Baron Blade wins that one.
Yeah, I think so too because Writhe
Baron Blade
messes
is-
himself up in the process.
Baron Blade is better at science than most people.
But he's
Than
also very-
almost anyone, but he's myopic in what he wants to do with it.
Well, he's not at all risk averse.
It's like yeah, that's true. But it's like it's like that comic panel that's like you turn people into dinosaurs. You could be curing cancer. It's like, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hi, my name is Carrie,
Hi.
and you'd mentioned a lot of connections throughout the podcast, and I don't know if you realize this or not, but sometimes your connections have real life consequences.
Okay.
So, number one, I have an amazing bonus son named Drew.
bonus son?
Bonus son, yes,
Oh,
he's
nice.
my bonus son. And he's introduced us to Sentinels Multiverse. We love it every time we get together. They're down in Florida. We play all the time. It's amazing. And he and his girlfriend came up, and we had this all in cahoots. So we actually used the game. He came up with this brilliant plan, and he used one of the cards from one of the custom decks. And actually, that's how he proposed to his girlfriend. So we now have a beautiful daughter-in-law
Excellent.
because of your game.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
amazing. Thank you.
That is the best story.
And we just wanted to know when the podcast is over, if we could please have them take a picture with you guys because you have made our family bigger.
Oh, yeah, we would be honored.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you.
What we'll do, so it is 1:05 right now. There's still some people that want questions, but it's good. We've got 50 minutes left. But we'll stop the show at like 1:30, and that way afterwards, if anybody wants to come up and do if you want us to kiss hands and shake babies, we can do that. And I have been offered both hands and babies now as a result of saying that. That's great. And all that. So we still have plenty of time for questions, but yeah. We'll plan on no baby hands, please. We'll plan on wrapping up at 1:30 for recording purposes, and then still being around for another 20 minutes or so after that.
Yeah.
Next question. Yeah, here we go. Oh, the trots. That's good.
Hello again.
Hello.
James again.
James again.
Obscure question on a micro villain that was one of the few things that wasn't covered in depth on the 3+ hour Sentinel episode.
That we still think is the longest one, but actually isn't.
Minor villain of Quetzalcoatl.
Yes. Yeah.
Aztec mythology is obviously really dark and goes places, but Quetzalcoatl is considered one of the more benevolent gods, obviously, until the whole mistaking a conquistador for him and stuff like that.
Right.
What was it that made someone so insane that they picked arguably the good guy of Mesoamerican mythology, and that was their villain persona?
The metaverse reason is that's the famous one.
That it was the most recognizable one. Whereas the in-character reason was that the person was like, oh no, I'm going to do the good things. I'm going to be the good guy. And then the overreaching of that, they're like, no, I'm good. I'm doing the good stuff. Oh no, I'm not. And that moment of realization doesn't happen until the Dr. Medico interaction. That it was both from the point of, okay, there's a lot of really cool options that we could dig into, and there's a lot of really cool stories, and no one will have any idea what these things, not no one, but not enough people. You want the comics are a mass market storytelling is the thing.
Well, there's a pretty wide gamut of the amount of research that authors do.
Yeah, some of them do a lot.
Some of them get real into it and go like, okay, I need to know everything about this specific thing that I'm going to be writing about. Some of them just go, hey, I remember this name from this thing. Let's just put that in there.
Let's knock it out.
Yeah,
Skybird.
and we fall into the earlier camp. We over research everything. I know you're shocked.
Some people are shocked. Really?
Yeah, we way over research. But the part of that over research is intentionally making people that under research.
Right.
So it folds back on itself.
Right. Yeah. Just lies upon lies.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, good. Yeah.
Grim Digger again. I have a desperation question. There's one type of story I don't think you've mentioned having been published, which is the next generation story. Have there ever been stories about the Freedom Five's children fighting Baron Blade Jr. or Pauline as an adult?
There's definitely been desperation stories. They're like, okay, what's happening here in the future? What are the kids of these people like? And a part of that has been the fact that all of Sentinel Comics, the reason that's not as there's not a main team like that in the world is that a lot of Sentinel Comics is based around that idea that it started with Legacy, then got passed to another Legacy, and is in the process of getting passed to another Legacy. Yeah. So the fact that runs through it means that's where a lot of the focus on that was spent. But there are definitely desperation stories of, all right, let's do this what if story about the kid of Setback and Expatriate and what nonsense person is that?
We also we have talked pretty extensively about doing a Sentinels Year 3000 sort of future thing that we would love to do.
Yes.
But it was not right for the multiverse timeline stuff. It didn't fit there. But we have
that makes a great source book.
Yeah, we have dozens of characters that we've talked about in that era also. So
it's a fun place to play around. Yeah. So
as a Legion of Schmooper Heroes fan, I would be very happy to see that.
Yeah.
I also have a very quick question about birthday song rules. I have the same birthday as Christopher, so when June comes around, am I required to sing to him?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the rule.
Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Hello.
That's good. Oh.
So I also really like desperation stuff. I'm Bowie, by the way.
Yeah.
Occasionally Becessio on some things, but anyway, mostly Bowie, I think, on the forums and Discord and everything. So I was wondering, can we know yet? Because I know you were saying not yet. I'm hoping it's closer to yet, or because it's Gen Con, there's more pressure. Can we know any more details about some of the heroes who were trapped behind in the comics universe in the standard RP universe.
Some of the mission heroes, you mean?
Or even the ones we didn't see in the mission deck, because I know a lot of heroes were brought in, other than New Haka, obviously.
Did we say? I thought we said one of them. Did we say any of them before?
Say the one you think we said, because I'm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we said that one.
Yeah. So Omni Unity is still around because she can make this place better. She can help it out.
Yeah. Right.
Hedgelord. Yeah. Hedgelord's around.
That's right.
Classic. So.
that one's the same, but yeah.
We can't do that.
Right, no. All right, yeah, I guess we're out of time.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
So I know it's a little bit unsatisfactory, but no.
What I can say is we can say is this.
Yeah. Okay.
We can say the last thing you said to me, which
Yes,
is true.
right.
Which is that a lot of those characters, a lot of the cool mashups of different characters and things like that are destined to show up in stories that are about desperation. And there is one specific game that we're working on, which is the home for those things.
Cody's very excited about this.
Can I ask a reserve question?
Prime War is going to have a bunch of alternate universe stuff.
Right, and so a lot of the things that are shown there are Prime War things. That is not to say that any of the mission heroes and other heroes that we've talked about that were part of the Trapped in this run aren't going to show up. We do have stories about that, but that's all up and coming. So sorry for the mostly unsatisfactory answer.
Can I ask a reserve question?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a bitter military-hating ex-military veteran, right? And so I always love in comics when we see even further exploitation of the military factor, like sector in comics. And so I know we had that with the Sentinels, Southwest Sentinels and everything.
Stuff,
but considering that there's now this huge influx of new powers, I cannot imagine the government would be like, we tried once. Is there anything that's going to be coming out for that?
You are correct.
Yeah, so
they can't be just like, forget it.
Something that we kind of the Vertex universe was headed towards that, big time. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons it kind of diminished is because it's a very cynical way to look at things, and I think that we wanted to take Sentinel Comics in a more hopeful direction in general.
Which is why Vertex ended up having that backlash of there's the hopeful stories, people are like, but where's the dark, gritty, stuff?
Right.
And so that was where Vertex came out of it. But that is not to say that there aren't other things that point at that. They're not just necessarily quite as all right, everything is focused on that. But there are more stories of those sorts that will happen.
Yeah, but the tension is not as built between military and superhero in the RPG timeline.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, thank you. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello again. So your comment about Tachyon's deck coming together really quickly got me thinking. Were there any decks where you would think, oh, this is going to be easy to put together, and then suddenly everything just exploded in your face?
I mean, so Absolute Zero is sort of that way because we made an Absolute Zero that's good enough, that'll work. And then that was wrong, and we changed everything about it.
It was not fun to play. It was boring.
I mean, it wasn't it wasn't unfun. It was just less fun than everything else.
It was just like Raw, but the damage is cold.
And not very interesting.
And not as spiky, not as,
you're right.
It was just kind of a bland deck. And
when you were starting to say is there anything complicated? It was Argent Adept, but we knew going into Argent Adept that one was going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, we did know this.
We knew that going into Naturalist, that one was going to be really challenging.
Skyscraper, that was a real difficult.
That was a super difficult one. We had an idea it would be because of the size change. I'm trying to think if there's any way they're this will be really straightforward, and then no, not straightforward. other than Absolute Zero because he changed from straightforward to not straightforward.
Yeah, most of the ones that were really difficult, we figured would be difficult.
Yeah, after doing the core set, everything from there on, we had a really good feeling for how challenging a thing would be. I guess a thing that sort of matches is that we thought that Oblivion would be this difficult, but it's difficult. It was like doing Oblivion, which we knew was going to be hard both for us design-wise and also art-wise and also like emotionally. That the whole Oblivion thing was going to be very challenging.
Well,
and we were
part
unprepared.
of that, a big part of that was the Kickstarter and feature bloat.
I mean, it worked out
a little bit. It worked out great,
I
but
wish we
like
had even more things.
We just added a lot more stuff to it than we thought we were going to. So,
all right, yeah, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna take your question, and then after your question, we are because it is already 1:15. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lightning round where everybody who's already up for questions, you come up, you ask your question, we answer fast, boom, 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 done. Okay. Cool. Is there anybody here in this line who hasn't asked a question yet? Because I'm seeing some people that have. Anybody who hasn't asked a question yet, actually, go ahead and come to the front. And then we'll lightning round. You'll still get your legit questions because you have not asked one yet. The people who've already, and then we'll start with Will. And from Will on back, you guys are lightning round. Cool? All right, excellent. So we get 5 full questions and then 5 lightning round questions. There we go. We can.
Hi, I'm Vivian.
Hello.
I want to know, other than Setback, who are the best and worst cooks in the multiverse?
Oh man, so Legacy's great at barbecue, making some burgers and all that. Skyscraper was a terrible cook, but she actually learned to become a pretty good cook because she ended up working at some restaurants and learning some things there. Best and worst. Haka is very good at making food.
Been around that long. You pick up some skills.
Yeah.
Guys is probably not a great cook.
He loves bananas though.
Guys thinks he's a much better cook than he is.
Guys thinks he's a much better blank than he is.
Yeah.
Boy, who are the best and worst cooks? Or best, depending on how you think about it. He can cook up most anything. Boy.
Fanatic probably doesn't bother.
Well, like she's very aesthetic in her lifestyle, so she's like yes, some paste, not like glue, like gruel. I'm looking for my dark horse here.
Yeah. Baron Blade has probably never cooked in his life. He has servants for that.
Yeah, Ron burns everything.
Yeah.
Trying to think of like. You know who's not a very good cook at all is Blood Countess Bathory.
Oh yeah.
Just garbage.
Yeah. Just like. Everything tastes like pennies. It's effing raw.
For the recording, if you didn't hear it, somebody said everything tastes like pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I need one more. Give me one more. Tempest is. We've talked a bit about Tempest cooking, where it makes a lot of things similar to they were back home, and like is good at it in that respect. But it's a weird palate for humans, for mammals, because he's not a mammal. What?
Greaser is really, really awful. Yeah. But he like has to do it. He's like, I'm gonna cook this thing.
We mentioned Skyscraper that she was a bad cook and then she got better.
Very
MREs.
Spartan, yeah, sort of like
cooking. Why would I do that? It would give away my.
I'm gonna
position.
heat up a can of beans and be done with it. Yeah.
Just take the can of beans, open the top, put it in the microwave. Wait, no, hold on.
Fires the gun a bunch and then heats it with the the barrel. Yeah, so that's I guess that's our
Captain Cosmic's very good at cooking, which is surprising.
Yeah,
but he is. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. You wouldn't think.
Wouldn't think it. Right. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Megan. I also have birthday this month as well. So Leo babies unite, I guess.
What, do you have a song that you'd like us to sing?
I'll give you bands you can choose. Queen, Pearl Jam. Take your pick from that.
I think yeah. Okay.
We'll talk about it in a second.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Question-wise, the beauty of Sentinels is how there's simplicity, but there's a lot of complexities within it.
Sure.
With designing the game and creating the different imagings, is there something that you created that actually, when you took a step back and actually went more of the simplistic route, it actually came together a lot better, or came in a way that you didn't expect it to?
So you're asking if we overthought anything in them?
More of
So
when-
constantly.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
yeah.
When by taking a step back, it either created a character or it fixed an issue that you were working on, or just having someone else in the office with the team.
Yeah, so taking a step back is a thing we have kind of tried to build into the system as much as possible, where whenever we're building something new, something like really that is impactful to the setting, we will do a big pass on it and then do that on a Friday and then walk away from it and come back to it on Monday. There have been times we've recorded letters pages on Monday, and we usually tell people when that happens. Not always, though. Sometimes we don't tell people.
Right.
Where we do a bunch of episode prep, and then we're like, all right, that's good, but it's big and it's changing a lot of things, so let's sit on it and come back in Monday morning.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of things that make it in the letters page that we'll sit and talk about the story, and we'll be stuck on specific points and go like, "Wait, we're way overcomplicating this. We made this villain's motivation way too complex. Like, let's take a step back and just go, okay, what does this person want? What are they doing to get it?" So
Like the fourth biggest diamond?
The
Yes.
fourth biggest diamond.
That's actually a great example.
good
You got to
enough.
see that happen live. Yeah. So yeah, all the time.
Thank you.
All right. Nice.
Okay, we got to do something.
Yeah, let's we'll do the songs after all the questions.
After all, okay.
Yeah, because then they can play kazoos while we sing.
Okay.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Eric, and I want to ask a question for Adam. As an artist, you taking inspiration to draw cards and the game. Where are you taking that inspiration from?
So there's a lot of different comic artists that.
For example, Riot, Myth, and where are you taking inspiration to draw other cards?
Yeah, so everything,
life, movies,
so
TV shows,
something that I
imagination.
do and that I advise every artist to do is have a Pinterest, and I use it as a reference board. And just like anytime I have a browser extension that anytime I'm anywhere on the internet, I can right click on an image and put it on one of those boards. So I just have boards and boards and boards of, it goes like men, women, monsters, machines, environments,
Then you're taking
just
symbiosis of them and making a new character?
And no, the characters come from just what they need to look like in terms of the backstory and the personality and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I just compile reference all the time and just constantly.
I only began playing Sentinels of the Multi-Universe, and have you considered creating occultism back? Because maybe Night Mist has it, but it's some sort of a paranormal activity than some sort of occultism.
Specifically occultism, I don't think so. Yeah, we try and have it be that sort of thing be kind of generic in terms of actual. We're not going to put actual real life magic symbols into things because we don't know the symbology of it, and
that's how you summon a demon. Actually.
Yeah, that's how you that's how you tear the world in half.
Game.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Midnight Lightning.
Hello.
And in the Vertex episode,
yes,
you mentioned that one of the reasons that universe was worse off than the RPG one is because the Nexus of the Void is no longer there.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the Oblivion episode, you mentioned that the Nexus was destroyed after the timeline split. So what happened to the Nexus in the Vertex timeline?
So the Nexus in the Vertex timeline was destroyed, but not by the Oblivion event, but by a later cataclysmic event that essentially was the absence of the Oblivion event, with Oblivion being destroyed with Oblivion being removed from that timeline with the split. There was all of the scions and other destructive nonsense going on that would no longer was focused, no longer had a specific Oblivion thing happening.
Well, and it was ultimately consumed by Night Mist's energy.
Right, and it was consumed as a result by the Miststorm.
That's where the Miststorm originates. So
right. Yeah. And that's why you have in the like tactic scenarios with the Miststorm that's slowly eating all the land masses.
Right.
The Nexus of the Void was one of those. So pretty early on.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're into the lightning round. Can we do it?
Yes, you get 2 from me though.
Make them
first
quick.
one, Setback and Expatriates Kid, Backfire. And second one,
it's not bad.
A lot of Easter eggs, especially early on.
Yeah.
A few less later. Are you going to do any more for the RPG? And do you have any favorites?
Yes, there will be some things like that here and there. We try to let the work be its own thing as much as possible, but it still happens. Favorites?
I like the Dragon Ball ones.
Tempest, for sure, yeah.
Mine isn't so much a reference to something else. My favorite one is just the stupid joke that I put in Wraith's deck.
Yeah.
The card Suit Yourself.
Oh, yeah. There's also, like, I haven't really announced this publicly before now, but there's a Gravity Falls reference in there.
Yeah.
It's really, really well hidden.
Yeah, what is it?
I'm not telling you. You can find it. It's there, though.
Yeah.
It's somewhere.
All right. All right, quick.
Yep. Payne triggered in. So, who can drink knife under the table?
Haka.
Besides Haka. Haka can...
Yeah.
Right. Besides Haka?
I think that's it. Knife can put it away, so...
Wager Master.
Wager Master is actually surprising lightweight.
Yeah, that is. It's not that surprising.
It's like half a beer.
Iron Curtain. Yeah, all right.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Iron Curtain.
Yeah, Iron Curtain could give her a run for money.
Not the Scholar. Not Skyscraper.
A proletariat would make a mistake and get accidentally real drunk real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any Doomsday devices of note that Baron Blade has that is not in Luminary's deck or Mordengrad's deck?
Yes.
Could you name some?
Well, so we know that he had the thing where he was going to be drilling into the core of the Earth. So that was a bad one.
Yeah. That was also a robot.
Yes, the drilling into the core of the Earth robot.
Yeah.
Normal stuff.
So all of the ones actually in the Mordengrad and Luminary decks are versions of other, are smaller versions of larger Doomsday devices. So you can kind of extrapolate a bit from that. Yeah.
Bonjour, Ansel G. Moreau.
Right.
Stuntman versus Boris the Unstable. Dr. Medico was removed so that he could be harmed. Yes. If Dr. Medico had been around, would the energy patch have been able to hold things until Dr. Medico was able to protect him?
No. The patch is not enough to do that. If Dr. Medico were there exactly in the moment and able to protect him / heal him, it would have made a difference. But it would take something of that strength to make a difference. So, yeah. All right, and last one. Here we go.
Yes, it's Chaos Orchestrator again. You've mentioned a couple times that Tempest is now part of a new group that's global.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to at least name drop any other members of that group?
Is there anyone we can... Well, so there's a lot, is the thing.
I'll give you
about that
two.
one.
I'll give you two names that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Wall, Kitsune.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And with that, we got to do birthday songs.
Yeah, we got to do birthday songs.
So how's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. This has been a lot of fun. I'm glad everyone came out. I wish. Absolute Zero was an early favorite of mine. I don't know if he's my exact favorite now, but I definitely enjoyed playing him in Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Okay. Yep.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
we,
sure, that
we
is
still have
true.
to sing in the microphones.
Right, yeah. So here's the
Yeah.
deal, Andy. Here's the problem we ran
Yeah.
into. We're going to admit to our failings as people.
We are.
Neither of us knows the Happy Birthday Beatles song by the Beatles well enough to sing it without a little bit of prep.
Yeah, like listening to it a few times.
No, we are though.
That was your suggestion.
We're not going to not do it. So here's the situation. There was also a Pearl Jam and or Queen option given. So Adam's going to sing a Pearl Jam song. I'm going to sing a Queen Jam song, and you're going to stand at the microphone, Andy, and sing Happy Birthday by the Beatles. Additionally, everybody in the audience has to sing a different song. So all confer amongst each other, pick a different song. You can choose to kazoo it if you don't want to sing it. You can kazoo or sing your choice.
Yeah.
Just wing it. Did you not know it well enough either? All right, hold on. Is there somebody here who knows the Happy Birthday song by the Beatles really well? Oh, man.
Wow.
All right, so culturally we've all failed, so that's good.
Everyone in this room, we're all failures together.
All right, great. All right, are we all ready?
Yeah.
Trevor, you have your song? Yes. Oh, he's going to kazoo it. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I want to set your What a cacophony. Everybody say the name of the song you sang. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
great.
I heard every, that
That's
was
my
that was a
favorite.
good one.
All right. Good job, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, so much for coming. Thank you for listening. Everyone at home that's listening to this later.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us and for coming to shows like this and helping us realize that the people like the things we do. We are also big fans of the things we do, and we're big fans of all of you. This is only possible because of people like you.
It is. Thank you so much.
We are very overwhelmed by all of you, and it's very emotional being up here. So thank you. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your forgiveness as we failed to answer many of your questions. And we very much look forward to all the exciting things that are coming next. Trevor's doing the outro music, which is exciting.
Bye.
Characters and storylines from the Letters page are properties of Greater Than Games. Sentinels of the Multiverse and other Sentinel Comics games are available on our web store or at friendly local game stores everywhere. If you have questions you'd like Christopher and Adam to answer, submit them to the official form linked in the show notes. You can also follow us on Twitter at scletterspage or email us via letterspage@greaterthangames.com. Music used on the show, composed by Jean-Marc Giffen, is used courtesy of Handelabra Games and is available at sentinelsdigital.com or wherever digital music is sold. Additional music was provided courtesy of Anthony Bedell. I'm Trevor Casterline, producer of the podcast. Thanks for listening.
So, do we have to do like an after credits bit that's like we make fool of ourselves?
No, we don't have to say anything. Trevor will pick something funny that happened earlier on.
Okay.
And he'll cut it into the end.
I can't do that this time,
No,
guys.
it's going to be fine. He's
No,
going to do it.
well, just find something funny for maybe like I don't know.
I don't think I can do it.
No, it's fine. Trevor, you're gonna make it
It's
work.
all one. It's just one recording.
No,
I can't go back.
You can put
It's
just
live.
put something that happened earlier that was funny at the end again, and it'll just be twice.
Right. Yeah. Just reuse it.
Right. Yeah.